Good morning, good morning. So a topic I'd really love to cover today, which has been coming up a lot over the last week, is that actually there's a real challenge that comes when we are trying to deal with the interests of ourselves, the interests of our family, the interests of our workforce, and that may be those who are direct employees of you, or those might be people who are actually, part of your extended staff. And during these quite politically volatile times, what I think we can often find quite challenging, both as leaders as a business, but also leaders in our general environment, is how do we delineate between the political aspect that's going on around us and that is going on politically at the moment, which is a real, as they say, hot potato. Everyone has a view, everyone has a different view, and potentially as a company, as an employee or as a leader, you are going to either galvanize or ostracize people from you if they don't agree with your political view, or if they do. So one of the things which I think is really, really challenging, or at least for the last week's worth of calls, has come up a lot. I think for better or for worse, from being in the army, is we're used to the idea that a tactical event can have a strategic impact. But for a lot of the business owners that I'm currently... So from that perspective is... morning, Rob. From that perspective, this is trying to work out what is of interest to the individual, what is of interest to the organisation, and potentially how do you marry these two together. And from that perspective is also trying to navigate where does somebody's individual rights of freedom of speech, of being able to show their opinion, start to impact on their ability to do a good job. Now we should all say, well, of course it shouldn't matter, but the values of a business are so fundamental to creating a unifying purpose that if somebody's activity, be it in their personal life or in their work life, we don't put up with people, assaulting other members of staff. So why would we put up with somebody assaulting somebody in the street or going onto a riot and assaulting somebody there? And yet that could be argued, well, but that's in my personal time. If I've got caught up in something and that's where I'm deciding to spend my free time, then that is potentially an area where they're going, well, no, you don't have any, you don't have any say in that. And yet the impact on the business, as we all know, for those of you guys who are military, the impact on the business of me, for example, having a soldier in Germany decide that he was going to run around naked on a football pitch and pretend to be part of, a special police force, that was significant because we then had to go and do organisation to organisation deconfliction afterwards. Whereas the actual individual soldier just had too many beers, thought it'd be a bit of a laugh and didn't even think of our team. And the same, what is happening in your business at the moment, in your team? Potentially, we've got the various different riots out in the States. So again, I deal with quite a few teams out on the state side. Really interesting piece with regards to, how do you delineate between somebody's personal right and also ensuring that they are okay. And this is where I'd love, if you have any queries of this, we've done some really brilliant work this week, because once we bring it back to the safety and you're bringing it back into why that person matters, what does it mean to them? Being able to explore the real impact and importance of this to them as a human being. And again, it comes back to the values and the standards, is ensuring how can you complement them? Because if they're out on the street, there's obviously something that's really important to them, but it's also helping them explore, is that right for them? Now, we can't say that as leaders, what's right. They have to decide for themselves. But we can help definitely guide. And I've dealt with this as well when we've been in South Africa, where, for example, the ladies that I was working with, the members I was working with, were having to battle against the fact that there were huge riots going on in Palabora and around where their families were. And so actually one of the big concerns for them was that whilst they were at work, their families were out rioting, because that was culturally what was being encouraged to do. And we were able to then talk through, logically, adult to adult, peer to peer, not coach and mentor to receiver, but adult to two human beings trying to cover a really challenging piece within life to navigate, of how do you go through this piece of navigating somebody's freedom of speech, wanting to express themselves, feeling aggrieved that there's something they're really, really passionate about wanting to change, but also ensuring that they are safe, their families are safe. What are the second, third, fourth order effects of this? And so I just invite you this week. We've got a lot going on around the world. As far as, you know, if there was ever a sign that something above is not happy with how we are performing, you've got to be taking it. And, you know, from that aspect, we've had swarms of locusts and there's potential famine on its way, if not already arriving in Africa. So again, that's how do you feed your family? Within the anti-poaching arena, we're exploring that piece. It's such a different dynamic when somebody's going to kill an animal because they're starving, in comparison to it going to Asia or to America to be sold for somebody's, you know, sitting room to be put up on a wall. They're very different dynamics. The same with, you know, I'm going to say it, the Black Lives Matter piece. This is a very different dynamic to what would normally be, oh, why are you out on the streets? These are really heartfelt passions that have been brewing because of bad leadership through the years. And something, as we know, has to cause large change. And often, unfortunately, that can be very uncomfortable in the process. But for us as business leaders, for us as leaders in this time, we have to help people navigate through this safely for them, safely for your business, safely for them and their families into the future. And that can come in many, many different ways. So I'm not here to tell you what the answer is. I am here to offer that for anyone that wants to talk this through, and like I say, we've done that with several companies over the last week, be it those that have got multinational teams, so those that are having to look at, you know, what's going on in Hong Kong, what's going on in America, what's going on in Africa. For those of you guys who are involved in multinational teams, please, let's chat this through, or find someone else that you know you're able to chat it through with. Because how you respond to one country, for that consistency part of leadership, is how people expect you to navigate and be able to advise another country. And similarly, when you've got an international set of clients, which I feel so privileged to have, is that you have that too. Is that how you are dealing with this amongst all of your different kinship and your different mentors and different people you're working with, they can also help with this. So from an international, but stuck in Scotland, I don't say stuck, that's wrong. An internationally focused person, but who happens to be in the UK, please give me a call. Really, really, really happy to help. It's such an important piece here. How we navigate this will affect the trust you have with your team and from your team. The trust that you have in yourself and how you can deal with things, difficult things, because that's what leadership is all about. Helping people find clarity through challenging and difficult times. It's so much easier to navigate through the easy times. We're helping people navigate through the challenging and hard times. And yeah, like I say, tactical effects having a strategic impact and a strategic effect on your business. That is what is going to be happening right now. Who is on those streets? What activity are they doing? How is it being presented? What are their ethics behind it? Do they match your values? So many different things. Are you matching the values they're expecting from your business? So many different things for us to consider. And for me, I just think this is such an amazing opportunity to just prove our worth, your worth, as a phenomenal leader, and to help galvanize, bring that unity, bring that strength to your team. And all I can say is, I hope you do. I'm sure if you're in this group, and from those guys that I can see that are watching it, you will do, without question. And I'm just I'm just here to help on that path, and just let me know how I can do. And just, drop me a message, anything below, sharing great ideas. There's loads of you military guys that have come up this morning. This is our ground. This is our comfort zone. This is our world to help other people navigate through, and to help each other navigate through too. So look forward to hearing from you. Ciao for now. And let's try and bring some unity back into this discussion and keeping people safe. That for me has got to be number one, especially when we're exploring the geopolitical aspects of how each other's businesses and each other's actions affect another team, another company, another nation. because this isn't just about us. This is so much bigger. Anyway, take care. Ciao for now.